good to go.
Now good to go. Good to go.
Last conversation, and oh my god, I hope this is the last time this is spoken about.
Oh my goodness.
The Grime convo, which has been dominating the Twitter spaces for the last at least.
I literally
week.
chimed into one a couple nights ago.
What were you saying? What's your take?
It was interesting because I
don't really do spaces because I know people just.
I literally Cyan Anderson told me I'm as old as Grime, so I get like Grime on a nostalgia level, and I hear it from like my older cousin. A lot more so than anything, but there's people in the Grime game, Dizzy, Kano,
Skepta.
Yeah, exactly. Who are just staples, and they are where they are now, including Wiley, mind you. They are where they are now because of that lane they carved out for themselves. And I appreciate Grime on a black urban or black British culture level. Just I feel like it has given us room to even have like stuff like this.
It's foundation. It's foundation. It's definitely foundation.
Literally
it's too
for
heavy
us.
a foundation.
So my take on Grime is that I feel like for me, for some people, like it's more musical. For me, it's more cultural.
I'll give you that.
What was your question? Just how I feel about
your
Grime
take
in
on
general?
Grime and the recurring conversation.
The recurring conversation.
Grime is Grime, and I think this is such an interesting conversation. Go on,
the recurring conversation to me is sad.
Yeah, I think it's sad too.
Yeah.
I think it's a sorry
sad
statement.
Because on one hand, like if it's gonna go either way, in terms of conversation, either let's keep the historical value safe, and let's not rub that out, or let's actually not make newer Grime artists feel like
then lesser than or whatever.
Yeah, or that the genre is dead.
Okay, but this is what my issue with the genre though, and the people that dive to defend it. And I know you got some stuff to say.
Like what?
To me, like the genre being dead, I feel like people get into a lot of semantics when they argue about whether it's not dead or not.
Is Grime dead?
Is Grime dead?
Stretch. It's not.
It's Funky alive. Just out of interest, even though it gets used in samples a lot.
Funky is alive for me.
Yeah, that's how we see. That's how I see Grime.
And then if Funky's alive, then Grime's
that's how
alive.
I see Grime.
To
say Grime is dead is a stretch. You know what it is? I feel like the people. Everyone's so entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
But this is why I know, and I think this is a key thing people need to learn. If you're not as it's so hard to say because you see Billy's really young. Billy the Goat. He's 18 and he made really good points though for someone that I know wasn't around to listen to that stuff. 100%. So it's like, have your opinion, but I feel like if you do not feel properly informed, like I came here and I said, I don't consume Dave. I'm not going to come here and now chat shit like I know everything Dave does. I feel like you just sit some convos out. Like I didn't even stay in these spaces. I find it hard to do.
Surely it's actual Grime artists in these spaces.
Which it is, but the host and things it's being led by someone that's questioning someone like Alhan. Alhan's a year younger than me and knows Grime the same way man does, and people that are older than me. And it's like it's not as it's not as genuine. Yeah, you get people like JP from Complex was tweeting like, why these are people that have been around the whole thing. Like I've been at Yard. I was born in London but grew up majority outside of London. I didn't have no one put me onto Grime. It was just me and a computer, and I'm listening to practice hours. Boy Better Know Cyphers 2011 where Skepta's where him, Jeremy, Double S, Frisco. Back then you got Lord of the Mics, you got practice hours, you got Bruiser, guys like Logan Sama. Like that's my thing. So I'm hearing Grime is dead and all that, and it's like the guys that have been there for that know full well it's not, because one, like Sweeney said, the culture's too important, man.
But that's okay. My issue is
that's not a standing argument for me. But I'm saying it's a very bloody key one. But it's like it's a key one. But it's like to say it's dead is crazy. I think we just have to say Grime's not on the level that Drew and a lot of these other sounds are. That's it.
That's fine, because I think dead is what's really twanging people, but when all the arguments are offering are not speaking to it being Like, yes, it's alive in terms of like, people practice it. By the way, jungle is still alive, by the way, in the sense that you go to jungle rave, it's popping there. They love it. My thing with grime is they're too obsessed with like a former heyday as something that they never quite reached. In terms of like them being dead or not, they don't have to be dead, but them being foundation has nothing to do with how popular they are now. They are
but this is the thing.
foundation,
Someone was in my DM the other day just sharing good music, and I heard it, and it was grime influence, but with like a new take of today's sounds and everything. I was and my feedback to the guy was, tell the person they need to keep going, because I wish other grime artists kind of heard this from an upcomer. He's taken grime and the current influences and gone, you know what, this is what I want. And that sound that he made, whether he'll break through with it, I don't know. But if you gave that to maybe like an Izzy Gibbs or someone with a bit of a name and whatever, and all of a sudden they made like some momentous visuals and that sound, they'd break through and bring grime back in a conversation, which spun me.
Would
like,
what
when
you
I heard
heard
the sound.
be considered grime though? Would it still be considered grime?
Yes. I went, this is actually grime, but I went, this is grime with elements
updated,
that
grime 2022,
like new people could listen to this and go, oh, they're not gonna immediately think of like or talk of the Wileys or the Kano, even if they don't know, they're just gonna look at it as a new sound. But people that know music will know that's grime and other stuff. And I'm like, the people hanging on to the heyday should actually just reassess the scene, look at their sound and just adapt. I don't think it's dead, but I feel like there's a lot of adaptation that needs to be done.
I don't think they want to adapt,
but they don't want to.
But I hear that. I also hear that because that cultural value comes from the non-adaptation. And this is like going to a village that doesn't have technology and trying to force tech on them. Sometimes you can't do that. You can't do that.
But then we'd happily say that village is living in the past, isn't it? And it's not their bad. It's not they're happy. We're happy. But my whole thing is you've got to accept where it is. They love that golden.
Their past is their authenticity as well.
I know.
You can't even question. That's hard to.
And then that's my whole thing though. If that's your benchmark, that's your golden standard, then everything is gonna seem kind of smaller and less alive in comparison. Like they're punished by that.
You know what it is? I think it's this thing where I feel like people don't sit back and think as well before they let a lot of people in this world let emotions take over. That's a
hurt in them spaces, in them Twitter spaces. Them MCs are hurt.
It comes to a point where people are starting to discredit grime and like the impact it's made. That's where like
that's left. That's left. But to me that's left though. But like that can't be an answer to why, because they want to argue. Because let's not get it twisted, they do want to argue for how popping grime is now. To me, that's a whole separate argument, and that's where I have objections in terms of what grime has done and how important grime is to the scene. You can't. To me, that's not debatable at all. But then, how popping it is now, what the reasons for that are, I think that all lives in grime too. They got to address that.
Not grime out.
That's exactly.
Without grime, would there be draw?
No.
What not grime? I would say a lot of its forefront runners not carrying. So like,
Chip, it's Chip. It's Chip.
What not?
It lives with Chip. I'm telling you, I was there. I saw him kill it. In terms of what not grime off.
Yeah, that's what.
There's two people. It's Chip and it's Gigs. There's two people that
I want to say
we were talking about Section Boys and then
how 6-7 came through.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I don't actually see a direct competitor for grime at the time.
But rap was that though.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a competitor, but it took
commercial level.
All I was gonna say is that with your point of Chip killing it or whatever, I was just gonna say it's the front runners, that had the sound and they kind of blew or went into the, because I'm gonna start saying AJ whatever. You see, for me, I listen to grime though. Like I'm talking President T, Big H, like Meridian, all them man. Like come on. No, like I listen, but the thing is, those guys like. P Money's still here selling out shows and stuff. But what I want to say is that even the P Moneys that are still doing quite well, they didn't transition with today's audience. So what happened was the AJ Tracys and the Stormzys and the people who came off the grime and now they're, big, they didn't carry the sound with them. So that hurt it. And then at the same time, the ones we hail high that are very flipping gifted just didn't, again, make the transition or the adaptation. And that's what killed grime.
I'm talking more first gen.
If people want to say it's killed. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. But I'm talking more first gen grime than second gen. So to mention AJ and all that's second gen. I'm talking about first gen. I'm talking about the big swing that happened between grime and UK rap.
they didn't want to push it as far anymore. I think they started like
No, pop became popular. Like,
that's true because
Tiny, Skepta,
and they were doing tunes that weren't grime. But this is what I'm saying.
And that's what kills grime. That moment,
Chip had, what was it, champion with,
yeah,
and all these things.
It was all left.
There you go.
If you combine that,
if
you combine that with the rise of UK road rap though, like gigs and that, it was enough to kill a scene because it was like, here you lot are making all this pop stuff, and also grime guys had the perception of not being about it anyway, and then you had road rap where everybody had to be real to partake, and it was bubbling in the streets. The combination killed that.
I didn't actually know that grime guys
had that perception on them.
Unquote,
Well, you know what's mad? I come from an age where they didn't. Like when I was mad young, grime was the sound of the streets.
Bro, it was.
It really was sound of the streets. Like people like to act like grime was always considered soft and that, but it wasn't. Like when Dizzy was coming out,
2011 we got early Lord of the Mics. Like everyone, like
it's already watered down.
No,
I
wouldn't say there's parts that are they're living.
As a grime kid,
not London, not even London. I'm talking. We're going more up north. We're going into Wolves. We're going to. Them man were holding it.
Grime lived longer up north.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm someone that's not even from there, and I'm looking at it. I'm telling people, you lot, I know, respect the Kanos and whatever, and I'm like, they are flipping hard. But you know what? Given the chance, them man up there really were holding it. They could have come down to London,
they were.
and it's just because the scene is always moving the capital.
UK rap had already taken over though.
Yeah, I know.
Rap is heavy.
But you know what? We have arguments like JK. Like, look at JK. He kind of carried grime for a longer time. But you know what it is? Nobody passed the torch down.
No,
that was the nope. You see in rap and everything, there's an like subconscious torch being passed down, even if it's not physical.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
You look at like, okay, so you've got Potter does rap and everything.
I was gonna say Potter,
but I'm saying
school, really.
Dave is someone that was saying he looks up to Potter. I've met Potter, and so subconsciously there's a torch being passed down that you don't realize. That you don't realize.
True.
Grime does not have that, bro.
No,
we have on the smaller level, yes.
Yeah.
This is why it didn't live, because on the big level, there's love for the scene and what it does from producers. Jammer does what he does for people, but it's not it wasn't on a mad scale. No.
And it even had a little chance second time round 2015, 16. Storms was doing sharp, bringing up old grime beats, and still people fled and didn't stay. So I don't know what grime
because
wants
you know
people.
what it is. I feel like as well with grime, with Sweeney saying that the adaptation, it's not something a lot of people are even trying to do in grime. It's grime reminds me of like in anime or in any gatekeeping culture where like you have lovers of something and they go, you know what, no,
you can't change
the door is shut, like we're not doing
this is how we do
that's how I
things.
look at it. It feels like they're gatekeeping their own stuff,
and then wondering why people aren't flocking to it, and
that's where they can't wonder.
And then what
exactly.
really like used to confuse me is that the modern conversation about grime would be, oh well, it's not like the style and the clashes, it's the BPM. It's just like, so Thiago Silva was
140
supposed to be grime, right?
Yeah, it's 140. It's grime. That's grime. That's an old school beat.
Grime,
that's definitely grime.
Just didn't.
It didn't feel that way to you.
No.
Even the way they're going back and forth.
That's an old school beat. That's an old school grime beat.
And even the way they're going back and forth is very old school. Like,
in terms of the beat, yes, 100%. But
even the style, like.
But even with that being said, I'm not saying to take away from Thiago Silva, but I'm just saying that would have been a great lane of adaptation.
You see, but you know what the problem was? This is the thing. It comes back to that torch. Them man were the ones doing it, but doors open for them. So it takes other people to realize it, because there was never a oh guys, this is what I was doing. Try this.
But also, you got to stick at it. Like, they're not young enough to need to be passing down the torch.
Yeah, I know. That's another thing.
It took them to pioneer and take it further.
And this is
and
the
they didn't
problem.
want to. That shows something. That shows something.
But this is what I was trying to say. The guys we respect that are big didn't even get to that level.
True. You're right. Yeah.
Look, Skepta did, but
after time.
After a long time. But Jeremy did his thing and doing his, you know what I mean. Gets
raps a lot now too.
But look, this is what I'm saying. Torches were passed in different ways, but just not for grime.
Yeah,
that's what it was. That's my thing.
Sad story. And I'm you know what? I'm over it.
It makes me flipping sad. Like
don't
watching
be that
all
sad.
of
I come from the time.
Like I'll be on Trench and I'll literally be watching these street.
And
freestyles and these clashes on Westwood and it will just for me, it's just like, wow, like I'm watching a culture here in Britain
Bro,
unfold.
back in the day.
And it's
Special,
just like,
special. But you gotta love it for what it
so
was, though.
special.
You gotta
And
love
it's
it for
just
what it
like,
was.
How could we let this just slip?
Cause you know what? It's
can
so.
we let it
I'm telling you,
slip?
I'm telling you, it's life. Like it's so easy to be mad romantic and nostalgic about it, but they're taking it to a next level. And like, trust me, I really enjoyed it. I was so sad when it went. But I know that it could never be what it was again anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Man,
it really is
you
a
know what
moment
it
in
is for me?
time.
You know, that's like the formula they had like on Risky Roads and Practice. You know, with like Escobar and them, man, and they would go around with the camera. You lot would see
Gets
like
with
the
the chick
freestyles.
tooth outside
But
his house
if you
and
watch,
he's
if you see before that those iconic freestyles, before you even get to see that, them man are all talking. You can see them man just like outside the block, and there's one camera, and it's
very raw.
It's so raw and. That gets carried over. You've got our version of those things nowadays, like, you know, jumpers, you this. But
you know
it
what?
does not give you that. But I'm like, you know what? When something's done its job, it just feels like that period has done its. It's done its job.
It's foundation. Plus, it will never be that raw again because the industry is set up now. People are trying to make peas out of it. So why would we ever do it like how we was doing
We're
it?
all like 20 something, whatever. When we But when we double in age, there's gonna be people like us. Other people doing things we do that will recreate moments like that with other people in our field, and when we double in age, we'll look back and go raw, like, and we might just feel that same way about the work we might put into. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
That's how it works.
There's parallels,
but for now, it's like
okay,
Grime has done its job.
You could look at it on that level.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna get over it after this today.
Sorry to tell you like that. I didn't mean to be all up on you like that.
No, but it's just like, if you can, I can.
Yeah,
right?
do you know what I mean? Like, I really went through that, like real life,
Exactly.
real time.
So, but I just wanted so deeply for Grime to still have the Grime title, but what I'm kind of hearing now is Grime crawled so we could walk.
1,000%.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, I would have liked for the trajectory of Grime to be Grime on a bigger scale now.
Do you know what's mad?
Because Grime is authentically ours.
British,
It's not like drill.
I've had this old debate on here
it's
too.
not
That's
like-
an interesting one.
It's not real rap. You get a real rap from wherever.
from wherever. Yeah.
You get a
Grime is
drill
really
rap
ours, you
from-
know.
Yeah,
And that is the
I hear
element
it, kind of.
that makes me feel like, okay, there's a loss there. Because if this plateaued, oh my goodness, that would have been authentic.
But you know what the sad thing is? It's like when we grow up and we see like Macaulay Culkin's now all grown up and everything. Like, it's like when we see our favorite celebs are all
Should
like,
look different
child
sometimes
celebs are
after
all.
years.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's like, that's how I'm going back every so often. Like, man, you know, listen to You Wouldn't Lie Me Either. If I had a flow like yours, I left no space for a breather. Like, Skepta comes around. We'll flow that breaks down.
Yeah, more time than the
The
previous
box
box.
on Tigra. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, I'm going back and I'm listening to shit like that, and it's like I'm just reliving because it's like I know I'm not gonna get it back.
No,
that's
you're
all
not.
I
It's
have.
special time. No,
And
it's
there's also
definitely
Yeah.
the commercial value. I feel like everyone that had a peak in Grime should have some commercial value. Like, you should have been able to be paid.
Yeah,
for
it's
this.
painful to see
That is
people that
painful.
moved like were so popular at a
Moved
time.
the culture and you got
And they've
nothing
nothing
for
to show
it.
for it. That is hurtful.
If you're the foundation of something, that's usually just something that comes with it.
Yeah.
But is that true though? Because I mean, flipping out, like, okay, Skepta did his thing.
Yeah.
You know what done it for me? Seeing DEE in adverts, bro.
That was hard.
Yeah, like
IKEA
that took a
advert,
while.
that
That took a
was
while,
hard.
and
That
it
was hard.
finally happened.
That was hard.
So,
That was
funnily
hard.
enough, a lot of them eventually still got their credit.
You're right. You're right. Most of
DEE
them.
actually
Far
he
and
keeps
few between.
dropping Grime.
He does. He does.
He hasn't
Hard-
stopped. He hasn't
hard
stopped dropping Grime,
hard
and he's getting
grime.
adverts, bro.
Yeah, true.
That's crazy. That's
True,
something
true.
I'll.
Is it IKEA as well?
Yeah, and I think he used his voiceover for. Yeah, it was that's
It's
the
IKEA.
same for IKEA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like he's still dropping Grime, and that's someone that is these two iconic to even.
but-
Yeah, too iconic to even drop. Like,
He is, but I wouldn't say. But the scene was big, bro. And if we go back and go comb through all the names, there'll be some people that took some hits for the culture.
I think though P Money's doing all right, I even think he is a lot. I think he could have been way bigger.
At least he's been
For someone that's
yeah, he
still
could've
eating
easily been way
and
bigger.
selling shows, I just feel like I'm looking at JK. Like JK came out later, but he obviously converted. The Grime took him to like now he can do Flowers remixes.
Yeah.
He can do this. He can do this.
I
But I'm
also
like,
feel like P Money's doing better outside of our scene as well. Like probably better than like he did a lot with dubstep and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So don't forget that it's like it's
Europe loves.
I feel like P Money's good money outside of the UK.
No, he
Do you
is.
see what I'm saying? Like,
Europe loves him.
He's moved independently outside the culture for a minute now. To be fair, so.
All I take from it is that grime is not dead, but it's just not. It's something that I think new generations might just not get to experience
Grime
fully.
is kind of dead though.
Yeah, that is, and it's okay. By the way, when we say it, yeah. By the way,
You know what? Yeah, I have to agree. I know the only
reason
reason I have to agree is because when Sweeney says that, it's true. Because what are we 2022? In 5 years, it might just be completely rubbed out, man.
Yeah, cool. By the way, even if people are still,
It's like a rare card or a rare
If
shoe.
you don't have
Like
that moving cultural
Yeah.
aspect,
you're not living and breathing anymore. I'm sorry. By the way, it's like, like I
true.
said, jungle raves, they're popping when you go to them. There will still be people that go to grime sets. Grime will always be
Esky
alive
dance,
in
man will
some-
still go to Esky dance, bro.
You have to go and look for it, and it's becoming way more of a niche.
Up on it, like,
Then it's not going to have the same effect. It's not going to impact.
But like I said, now,
and there's no disrespect to the foundation that grime is as well.
yeah.
To
But
say that
like I
it's
said,
dead.
now if I go to Esky dance, it's not gonna be like when I see Skepta, Frisco. It's not.
No.
And now it's like I don't even want to go to Esky dance, not because I don't like the culture of the Esky dance anymore.
it's just not gonna
it
hit
hasn't
the
got the
same.
people and what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And this is why Sweeney's point of it is actually dying stands.
I know. I'm with her. I'm not going to lie to you.
I hate that for grime.
Oh, see, at least she feels bad. I'm over it.
Oh,
Grime, get over it.
I
too,
saw
man.
a tweet like one or two.
You shouldn't have to feel like this.
Yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad. It kills me.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
But you know what? I saw a tweet the other day. A girl was like, I wish I grew up in grime, or like people that grew up in grime were lucky. I was like, yeah, it was.
I feel like that too. I feel
feel
fortunate.
so
I feel
fortunate,
too.
bro.
I feel
Literally,
fortunate.
when you actually hear an account from somebody who's close to you, like
Yeah.
a personal front line, like my older cousin, when I was young, it was like alive and breathing, and grime was something he was so excited about,
So passionate about.
and when I got to like ages maybe like 14, 15, that was something he would educate me on.
Yeah.
You know?
solid upbringing.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, damn, I don't see this movement. And this was just before drill came in, so this was like blur moment for I guess
The
like
UK and that in terms of genre and that, that was a 2012,
urban
13
British
times,
market.
Yeah.
It was just like, damn, like we used to have this, and what happened? And then obviously
grime
drill
was
came-
beautiful, man.
drill
my
came in.
brother's like
It's a
20,
loss.
29 now, so I was even asking recently, like, the raves in your time must have been lit.
Bro, you know, visuals when you have like Fleur D and Gets and them man are on the whoa, Gets was, you know what?
In the
I really
rave.
appreciate Gets now, but I feel like people now there's a Gets they're not gonna see
Ghetto,
ever.
that's ghetto.
That's get. Oh my goodness, and that's what. I'm so happy for, and what kills me is that I hate that I didn't grow up in London to experience it.
Yeah.
I had to really delve into it myself on my own because I have no sibling older than me, and it's not even that I'm too young. Like, I'm going 25. I lived majority of it anyway, but it's like I wish I was there.
Like Bluetooth. And
Yeah,
all
but
this
I
stuff,
wish
like,
I
it's
wish I was
different.
there when it was
Schools
pirate
and that.
radio.
Yeah.
Man were there with the actual copies of the man was seeing Trim's tape, President
Trim was
T's
hard.
tapes. Trim's on some
Trim's
people,
an
like-
unspoken one, you know.
Bro,
Trim's one of the coldest.
this is what I'm
from
saying,
that
and
era.
you know what? There is that's one thing in life. I wish if they said, "Could you give something to?" I wish I could give everyone that grime era because I know there's so many old souls amongst us that would
That appreciate it.
flipping love that
Yeah,
time.
100%.
They would love because you know what? There was no such thing as social media. There was no. It's
No censorship
every
neither.
man beef whatever. No, we're all gonna go to a room. Everyone's gonna grab a mic. We're gonna freestyle.
Yeah,
we're gonna
back to back.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're gonna sell this after. We're gonna that. You know what? That form of networking then compared to today, whatever today's networking is, I don't know. But the networking then. Beautiful. You look forward to just getting out of the yard and doing anything.
1000%. It was a beautiful
I wish I
time.
could give that to people.
Ooh, and what the hell? We lost that?
Yeah, it's you know what?
It's gone.
Everyone that complains about authenticity would have loved growing up in grime because
Yeah,
that would have even if they felt like they had a tolerance to stuff of today, they would have no tolerance to this stuff. And that's why I'm the way I am when it comes to
That
today's culture and
really
tolerance.
hurts. It really
I don't.
hurts
That's why I don't
because-
take no rubbish because it's like I know what it was like.
Yeah.
Why
You know
is
what?
it like this? You see, if people want to know why I'm the way I am, it's because back then you could show love and there was no two ways about it. Everything was genuine. There wasn't this trying to get to a place. There wasn't this. Everyone was just, this is the era. Let's all just have fun. Like,
True.
That's where man comes from.
And I feel like we're missing those little. How can I celebrate grime crawling, so what we have now could walk and fly.
Yeah.
How can I celebrate that? And I feel like there's key elements of what grime brought to the culture missing, i.e. when we ask a rapper to rap on the spot or
it's a struggle.
Freestyle. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Like,
Back then, oh my days.
You weren't an MC if you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You couldn't come around.
It was a huge thing. Like if you couldn't do it, there's no point.
Even if you missed the drop, man,
solid
are taking a mic.
foundation. I was at Tory Lanez's concert maybe a couple of months ago, and he just started freestyling, and he started freestyling about people in the crowd not fighting, and he's made it this whole. He's just freestyling
He's
and
a
he's
talent,
killing
man.
it.
He's a talent.
He's killing it, and I'm watching it. I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, am I at a real hip hop concert right now? That you can make this whole freestyle about people not fighting and making room for other people in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then go straight back into your set.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is missing
Just
now.
deep
That is
it.
what I really appreciate when I look at old grime.
Yeah, and deep it from what she said, that's like like cause how old you girls roughly? Like it's 20, 22, 21. So it's like they've only just really experienced the peak of they've experienced clash culture with Stormzy and all this, like not proper clash culture. But can you imagine? That's the end. That's basically the end of clash culture. That was the end of. That's what I think.
Talking about like Crazy T and
my
Dizzy
days.
Russell on the roof.
You have people that shouting to people like, and it's like, people would be intimidated this and that, but it would never be black. It's like you would just go and rap against another person. Like now, you guys got that with like Stormzy and Chip, but it's like. That's as far as it goes. I feel like that was the last piece of proper popular clash culture that we're gonna probably see.
Don't get twisted. It is mad sad. I've just gone through my grieving. That's I've made my peace with it. But I'm conscious of going over time and that. I just want to thank you very much for coming out.